Hey, I'm Ben from Fine Woodworking, and welcome to my home shop. We've lived here about 2 years, and I've been working on the shop for probably about 1.5 years, and I still don't have electricity run out here. Everything's just off of one 100-foot extension cord. Because of that, I can't really use my big machinery. This bandsaw is about the only thing that sees any use out here. And unfortunately, while it was in storage, the cast iron table got a good bit of rust on it. So today I'm going to show you how I'm going to clean it up and how I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen again on both this and my other machines. So I used to always use vinegar to clean rust off of tools, but these days I'm actually using a product recommended to me by contributing editor Raleigh Johnson, Evapo-Rust, and I've used it a few times now and I really like it. So it's as simple as just pouring some on. I'm a bit generous with it. And I'm gonna make sure that there's a good coat over the whole table where all of the rust is. Just using regular old paper towel here. And what I'm going to do is make sure it's covered. And you can tell already that it's taken some off. It's not getting anywhere where we need it to be. But I'm then going to just cover it with paper towels. Raleigh uses a rag. I don't have any here right now. And then honestly, I'm going to saturate the paper towel to make sure that that metal stays wet with Evapo-Rust. Now, to really make sure that the Evapo-Rust doesn't evaporate, I'm just going to take a garbage bag and wrap it around the table. I'll just use the fence to hold that in place. Now, I'm going to let this soak for a few hours, and we'll come back later on tonight and see what we got going. Alright, so it's about 6 hours later, so the Evapo-Rust has had plenty of time to do its job. And as I take off the plastic bag, you can see that a lot of the rust has actually wicked up into the paper towels. So the Evapo-Rust has lifted the rust up to the surface and the paper towel has wicked it up. I'm using a maroon Scotch-Brite pad to scrub away all of that rust that has been brought to the top. It's almost a sludge or a slurry of rust and Evapo-Rust here. And you can see, as I wipe away that slurry or that sludge with a paper towel, you can see I'm left with a pretty good surface. It's not perfect, and it probably never will be. It's not like this rust didn't happen. It's as good as I can ask for without doing some major resurfacing. So now, how do you keep rust out of your shop? The best thing you can do is use a good rust preventative and just check on it. Make sure throughout the winter or make sure throughout the summer whenever you're not using your tools every day, that every now and then you go back and check on things and make sure that rust isn't starting to form. Raleigh Johnson in our Tools and Shops issue, which is hitting the newsstands right now, he recommends using camellia oil. And I would love to use camellia oil, but for some reason I've always been too cheap to spend the $20 on a bottle of camellia oil. I always have WD-40 lying around. I use it for sharpening. I use it for all sorts of stuff. So I'm gonna just spray some WD-40 on this. And years ago, Tom McKenna did a tool test of different rust preventative sprays or coatings. And WD-40 was right at the top. It wasn't the overall winner, but it was pretty close. And I have it on hand. I have a ton of it on hand. It just works great for a lot of things. So this is a tool that I use all the time. Even in the winter time when it's 4 degrees out here, I'm going to be using my bandsaw at least once a week. So it's easy for me to keep an eye on it now that my shop's set up. So here is my new to me mid-80s Delta Unisaw. It's in pretty great shape. It's got a lot of great projects that have been built on it. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to be able to get to using it for a little while. I've still got a lot of work to do. So I'm going to be spraying this down with WD-40 and then wax paper. I'm probably going to leave it just like this. I might throw a blanket over it or something, just because everybody knows I'm going to put stuff on top of this horizontal surface. But that's fairly protected now. If I get my power run out here, and all of a sudden I want to use my table saw, all I got to do is pull this wax paper off, wipe off the top, and I'm good to go. If I did something like Cosmoline, which is that oily gel that that most machinery comes covered in from the factory, it takes a while. This, no time at all. Give it a try.